Hey, movie fans, and welcome back to Classic Corner, the show where I watch classic movies I have never seen and give you my thoughts on them. Because, I have a great opinion.
Are you sure about that?
This episode, we're talking about The Shining, a horror film from the 1980s starring Jack Nicholson, directed by Stanley Kubrick, and original based on the novel written by Stephen King. This is one of those movies that is considered a horror classic. It is something that, if quote unquote, if you're a horror fan, you need to have seen this movie and love it. I consider myself a horror fan, but I have never seen this film. Obviously, because of the history of this movie and because of how old it is definitely hard to experience The Shining in a way that is free of, it's hard to go into The Shining blind. I've seen, the Here's Johnny scene over and over and over again. I've seen the stories on why his wife, the young lady who played his wife, Shelly Duvall is actually looks so incredibly terrifying in it. So it's hard to go into The Shining blind. Obviously, there's some expectations as to, hey, you're supposed to really love this movie because it's a classic and because it's a big deal, which is one of the reasons why I started doing the show, because there's definitely expectations. So let's get into it. It was fine. It definitely a 1980s movie. Lots of use of certain words that we would never use today. Lots of nudity that I was kind of expecting, half expecting, half not expecting. That being said, it was hard to watch a movie that is obviously focusing on the wrong characters. Jack Nicholson is a fantastic actor, and his ability to play crazy people comes through in this movie, definitely. However, I guess in my mind, and maybe this is me projecting a little bit, in my mind, in order for someone's descent into madness to really hit us emotionally, he has to be like a decent person to begin with. And at no point do I ever feel like, oh yeah, like I'd hang out with Jack. Like, he's a cool dude. He's charming, definitely. But the more and more you kind of see of him, the more and more it doesn't feel necessarily that the hotel or The Shining or whatever is driving him crazy. It's more just that was already there. Which maybe that's a whole part of the conversation. Obviously, like, this movie has something to say about generational alcoholism. The issues I have could have been resolved in this movie by, let's just focus on Wendy and Danny and see their, like, obviously, yes, you see their reaction to the events of the movie, but like, I would much prefer a more focused kind of film on their, like, I don't know. It's hard because, like, the movie definitely seems like it is about something else than what the movie is shot like. I don't know. Does that make sense? It's fine. It's not necessarily. I get why it was a big deal when it came out. However, now, while Nate and I always say, it's having pacing and having quiet and drawing out a scene can be like perfect, but when every scene is drawn out way too long, or every scene has a pacing issue, this movie's way too long. It's annoying at times. The pacing is way too slow. I find Danny, the son, to be the most fascinating part about the entire movie, and yet he is also the one person we spend the least time with. Wendy's fantastic. She's like one of the most charming people in the entire movie, and to the point where, like, when Jack is actually going after her, it actually feels like I feel really, really bad for her. I wish that The Shining was explained a little bit more. just so that we understand what Danny's tapping into or what's happening with him. A little bit more explanation would have been great. I think my biggest gripe about the movie, and honestly, like, you fix this one thing, and I think I honestly would have actually really enjoyed it. The music, I'm going to put air quotes on that. The music in this film is terrible. It's just a bunch of sounds that don't necessarily make sense. There's times when the scene is literally just a conversation. Like literally even the content of the conversation, there's no ominous intent at all in the conversation, and then the music is like got the the Friday the 13th violin going on in the background, and it's like it doesn't do it for me. Like, I don't like it when music tells me what to feel. I in the scene, I would prefer if the music at no point is working in tandem with what I'm seeing. It's just there to be loud and make me uncomfortable. And you know what? Maybe that's the point, but it doesn't do it for me. The Shining is, while probably a well-intentioned adaptation, the fact that Stephen King hates this movie doesn't exactly help it. Is it worth a watch? Sure. If you're someone who enjoys horror movies, definitely check it out. It's one of those that's like, it's good to know the kind of from a historical perspective, I guess, in horror movies, of like seeing where we've come or how far we've come, or the ability of Jack Nicholson to look absolutely crazy. Those kinds of things definitely, like, it's worth at least one watch. Like, I'm not mad that I saw it. I can at least say I've seen The Shining and can actually have a decently informed opinion of it, but I don't think I'll ever watch it again. So there's that. But yeah, what do you guys think? Have you all seen The Shining? Do you have an opinion on it? I mean, this is the internet. Everybody's got an opinion. If so, let me know in the comments below. If you like what you see and you want to see more, just subscribe to our YouTube channel. We post fairly regularly. We have a podcast available where other podcasts can be found. Spotify, iTunes, Google Play. So yeah, hit us up in the comments, hit that subscribe, and until next time, stay sharp, movie fans.